Today's meditation comes from Acts chapter 5 verse 1 to 11. When apostles and some of the faithful members, they wanted to start early church. If you notice in the chapter 4, from 31 onwards, they were filled with the Spirit. When they prayed all together, they were filled with the Spirit. When they were filled with the Spirit, the members said, "We'll sell our house, we'll sell our property, we'll give it for the God's work." There was a couple called Ananias and Sapphira. They also promised to the apostles, "We'll sell the particular piece of the land, and whatever the amount we get it, we'll give it for the God's work." So they sold their property. They got the huge money. When they got the huge money, they kept some money for themselves. And they gave it to the remaining money for the church. When they came to the Apostle Peter, and he said, "Why have you filled with the evil spirit instead of Holy Spirit?" The Peter understood. They're telling the lies. Peter asked him, "Have you sold all your property?" "Yes, I sold." Are you giving all the money?" He said, "Yes." When evil spirit is filled, the lies comes. Because Satan is the father of lies, tree of lies. He was filled with the evil spirit. On that moment, Ananias collapsed and died. After 3 hours later, Sapphira came and Peter asked her, "Have you given all the money to the church?" She said, "Yes. There are the men who are waiting at the door. Just now they buried your husband. Now they will bury you." She was collapsed at the feet of the Peter and died. Now, my dear believers, here I wanted to ask one question. So they did one lie. They hid some money. Why they have to die it? Why they have to die it? Now, my dear believers, we need to understand here. They promised to the God, whatever the money we get it, we'll give it for the God's work. They were thinking in their heart that trying to fool the others. But they're not telling the lies to the man. They were telling the lies to the Holy Spirit. Matthew chapter 12 verse 31 says, "Blasphemy against the Holy Spirit shall not be forgiven." They tried to do the blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. That is why their sins are not forgiven, they were died. Now, if you look at the Ephesians chapter 4 verse 30 also says, "Do not grieve the Holy Spirit of the God." When you grieve the Holy Spirit of the Lord, this is what the punishment happens. They did not ask, but they voluntarily said, "We wanted to give." That means they're trying to show, they were speaking like hypocrites. Maybe they were looking for some position in the church. They wanted to show that we also sold some property and given to the poor. So in the early church itself, this kind of the wicked people starts. It is going to be destroyed. The whole church is going to be ruined. Then after that, everybody was feared. What happened to the Ananias, Sapphira? Because they did blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. They did evil against the God. When we do something evil against the God, when we do blasphemy against the Holy Spirit, this is what happens. Because they promise this land belongs to the God. When they promise this land belongs to the God, should be given to everything. If you look at the First Chronicle chapter 21, David was filled with the evil spirit. When he filled with the evil spirit, he said to count the number of Israelites. The Israelites belongs to the God. But he was thinking, these are my people. He faced the consequence. Now, my dear believers, we need to understand. When we do something against the God's institution, when we do something against the Holy Spirit, the God will not forgive. The consequence you have to face. But God has given the freedom of choice. God has given the freedom of choice. Choose what is the best for you. May God bless all of you.